you imagine waking up and Christopher Reeve is staring down at you rapturously? Yeah, Bernie, I'd make out with him too. I'm Liz, and this is Flashback Fairy Tale Theater. Today I am recapping Sleeping Beauty. Since I'm resharing these reviews, I'm going to rely on some of my old video footage. I apologize because I used a musical soundtrack for that, and I know it messes with the sound, but I just don't have time to refilm everything. Here's some information on the production. Sleeping Beauty aired on July 7th, 1983. It was written by Jeffrey Allen Fiske and directed by Jeremy Kagan. It stars Bernadette Peters as Sleeping Beauty, Christopher Reeve as Prince Charming, Beverly D'Angelo as Henbane the Wicked Fairy, Carol Kane as the Good Fairy, George Sunza as the Woodsman, Sally Kellerman as Queen Natasha, Rene Aubergenois as King Boris, Ron Rifkin as the Squire, and Richard Libertini as King Murray. Peters and Reeve are double cast in comedic roles as vain royals courting their counterparts. The production design was based on the artwork of Kay Nielsen. Now let's recap the plot, which follows Charles Perrault's version of the fairy tale with some adjustments and additions. A traveling prince and his squire meet a woodsman and ask for a tale. The woodsman begins, but is interrupted by the enthusiastic squire who sees an enchanted castle above the trees. The woodsman switches gears to tell the story of the princess asleep in that castle. We flash back into the tale to meet King Boris and Queen Natasha. The queen is feeling unsatisfied, and she's not sure why other than the desire for the pitter-patter of little feet. Luckily, a fairy in a box pops out to remind her that she needs to fuck her husband for that to happen. So the queen relays the naughty notes to her hubby and they presumably get busy. A baby girl is born, and they celebrate with the fairy folk of the kingdom. One fairy is missing, but no one has seen Henbane in years, so they don't worry about it. The youngest fairy leaves to take a whiz right before the gift-giving starts, but luckily she arrives back in time to see Henbane magically arrive and curse the baby to death by Spindleprick. The youngest is able to amend the curse, though she has to improv her way through the save. The king orders the destruction of all spindles, and we flash forward to the woodsman and his audience. It is here we learn that the squire and the prince have actually switched places because, honestly, it's unclear. But we learn the prince had a dream recently about a beautiful princess he feels destined for. They had set out to search for the one, but along the way they got tangled up with a vain and manipulative princess from the east who turns out to be Henbane in disguise. Anyway, the prince asks for more skinny on the enchanted princess, and we meet grown-up Sleeping Beauty. Her father is trying to marry her off quickly and get her out of town because
Henbane's curse extends only to the boundaries of this kingdom.
Unfortunately, they pick a real asshat of a prince, and Beauty runs deep into the castle at the sight of him. It's there that she meets an old lady who lures her to her spindleprick, and the old woman peels off her face to reveal it's Henbane. The wicked fairy curses the castle with killer thorns. The good fairy puts everyone else to sleep, and Prince Himbo battles his way to the maiden, who wakes up with his kiss and immediately makes out with him. I love this episode. It's very funny and very creative. The characters are all really distinct, including this ensemble of fairies. Beverly D'Angelo is really chewing it up as Henbane, fully embracing the feeling that she is thrilled to be fucking this party up.
Don't know much about fairies, do you? Of course I did. Now will you kindly shut up?
Carol Kane is very sweet and adorable as the novice good fairy who has to save the day.
What if I freed everybody?
And I gotta shout out Jean Verone as this green fairy for serving some real gay best friend sassy zingers.
She's 400 years, if she's a day, still holier than thou. Henbane, you are one sick fairy.
I generally think this is a great adaptation of the source material. The side plots for Prince Charming and Sleeping Beauty are a little silly, but they're totally worth it to see the full comedic range that both Reeve and Peters can deliver. The writers wisely gave Bernadette Peters a song.
Someone hear my plea and take a chance with me because I'm nobody's baby now.
effervescent as the princess and hilarious as this thirsty bitch.
Oh, you had me worried there for a second.
Reeve is utterly adorable and makes me swoon as Prince Charming.
So I dare to wake you to reality. Are you my dream come real? Or am I dreaming now?
But he also gets to show off his physical comedy skills as Beauty's foppish suitor. The sets and costumes are once again lush and lovely, though I'm not really sure I'm seeing Kai Nielsen's influence here. Now, this is one of the horniest episodes of fairy tale theater. Not the horniest by far, but it's pretty damn sassy.
The very thought of this one underfed peasant causes my heart to leap in my bosom. Try this one, it's bigger. Wait. It's just that your hands are so rough.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm so sorry, madam, and you such a delicate, charitable creature.
Use your mouth.
What?
I'm glad to report that nothing ages too terribly here. We do get some white people wearing Arabian Nights-ish costumes, but no brown face, as far as I can tell, so that's an improvement. Hey, how would you like a fun fact? Sleeping Beauty's costume was apparently lost for some time, but fans of the show rallied, and they tracked it down to give to Shelley Duvall in 2018. This is also the first episode since The Frog Prince that Duvall doesn't appear in some capacity, beyond her traditional introduction. This is one of my favorite episodes of the series. Everything about it was made just for me. The casting, the costumes, the comedy, and the absolutely unashamed thirsting for Christopher Reeve. My God, that man was handsome. If you want to check out full episodes, they are available on YouTube as well as the Internet Archive, and they might be streaming somewhere, so poke around. I'll see you next time.